Hello and welcome to our latest episode of Technical Solutions to the Epidemic. Today in the Lianjiang News Zone we're at a company called Keysmile Limited, and they are the developer of a machine called a Chemiluminescence immunoassay analyzer. So today they have agreed to let us come and tour the company, and we can also meet with the staff here and learn more about the machine and its role in testing patients for COVID-19. So let's go inside and take a closer look.
Could you first introduce the background to Keysmile technology?
Okay, our company was founded in 2013 and received the registration certificate in 2014. The main field is testing human immune components, for example human IgG and IgM antibodies, which our chemiluminescence analyzer can perform with reagents from other manufacturers. This is the general business model.
Could you explain in simple terms what chemiluminescence is?
The main function of this machine is testing human immune components, for example the antigens and antibodies we just mentioned, which are captured by a corresponding substance and simultaneously combined in the machine to create a reaction. Lastly, we retain the desired materials and make them glow by exciting the components. It's the antigens and antibodies emitting light. Once they start emitting light, we can measure the levels of photons and determine the components within the antigens and antibodies, so we can confirm whether the patient has a certain infection or is in a healthy state. That's the main function of our machine. Of course, there are many other things that we can test for, such as tumor markers, STDs, autoimmune diseases, allergens, and around 100 types of rash. These are the roles it can play.
What role did the chemiluminescence analyzer play in the epidemic?
We began dispatching this machine to hospitals last March around the country to test for COVID-19 antibodies. Presently, we deliver around 100 analyzers to provinces nationwide. What is the main role it plays? It detects the quantity of COVID-19 antibodies in humans or confirms the presence of such antibodies in the blood, which means that suppose there are COVID-19 antibodies or related antigens, it is possible to determine whether they have contracted the virus in the past, whether the patient has recovered, and that everything is normal. There is an advantage over RNA testing in that it can recognize whether a patient has contracted the virus in the past year and also determine the level of seriousness. There are more advantages over RNA testing. The speed of testing is very fast, as the results can be obtained within an hour, while RNA testing needs 2 days. So the effect is that a high number of people can be screened for antibodies. This is a positive effect our analyzer can provide.
How does the chemiluminescence immunoassay analyzer correlate with fighting the epidemic?
Well, the environmental requirements aren't demanding. It can be used in any grade of hospital, such as major hospitals, second-tier hospitals, or even town-level clinics, and perform exactly the same tests. Once it has been installed properly, there are no further environmental considerations. It can be used directly to test blood samples. This level of convenience is the third advantage.
Currently, I understand you have sold 3,000 units domestically and around 4,250 overseas. What has the feedback been like so far?
The machines we have installed domestically include tests other than just for COVID-19 from before the epidemic, and the feedback has been very positive, such as from Beijing Union Hospital, West China Hospital, Chongqing, and other well-known branded hospitals. We have also installed the machine overseas in Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and even in some places in the United States we have customers using it. And the feedback from all of these places have been very positive for its high output, efficiency, and smart features. As each machine has a remote internet function that allows us to monitor performance in real time as part of after sales, so we can perform remote diagnostics. Its auto recovery functions are very helpful, which is another advantage that it holds.
The epidemic worldwide is in a critical stage. Do you have any advice to offer from a technical point of view?
Okay. In the early stages of the outbreak in China, as we produce an important resource in epidemic prevention and control, we invested ourselves in the fight against COVID-19. Of course, we screened many infected patients, so based on results in China, it is my sincere hope that every country can learn from our experience in China in the field of prevention and control, because the strategy achieved success. Secondly, because COVID-19 has a special characteristic in that patients can be asymptomatic, there is a great need for extensive screening, so that infected patients with no or few symptoms can be recognized at an early stage. Since COVID-19 is highly contagious, There is a risk that asymptomatic patients will spread wildly and greatly undermine efforts in prevention and control, like how China is now screening patients on a large scale with the aim of understanding the epidemiology of the virus through in-depth analysis and ultimately bringing the epidemic under full control. These are my thoughts on the matter.
Now I'm joined by Doris Duan from Keysmile Biological Technology Limited. So Doris, thank you for joining us today. Could I ask, what is your job here at Keysmile?
Yeah, I am the supervisor of marketing and sales department, and I am responsible for the overseas marketing.
So is there a lot of demand for the immunoassay analyzer overseas?
Yes. In the yesterday we have get new orders from Italy and France.
Okay, and how many orders are there?
Approximately 20 sets.
About 26?
Yeah.
So at the moment, because of the epidemic, is it difficult for companies overseas to send people here for training?
Yes, of course, especially the visa.
Now I'm joined by a trainee here at Keysmile Technology here in Chongqing, and he's here to learn how to use the analyzer, and after that he's going to return back to Europe and teach other people how to use it. 是这样了吧，我就不透露这么多。Now I'm joined by a trainee here at Keysmile Technology Limited. So he is Mr. Lu, is that right?
Mr. Lu.
Yeah, Mr. Lu. So Mr. Lu, how long have you been in Chongqing?
I have been in Chongqing for 1 week.
Oh, for 1 week?
Yes.
Okay, and I understand you had to do the quarantine here in Chongqing?
Yeah.
So you did the quarantine for 2 weeks?
2 weeks. I will stay here to get the training for 1 month.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and how is the training? Is the machine difficult to learn?
Before I come to Chongqing, I get the training in internet, so I understand a little bit knowledge about this machine. And when I come to Chongqing, come to Keysmile company, and I stay with very good teacher and then learn very fast. I think at the beginning I felt difficult because this is a high technology, the medical machine.
Sure.
And then after the training, I understand more. I think in the future I will study very fast and I will understand all.
So when you return to Europe, what will you do? Will you train other people how to use the machine?
Yeah, I will. When I come back to Europe, I will teach our agent, engineer how to use the machine, how to do the basic maintenance work, and when they get the trouble about the machine, and then I will come to the job site to repair and keep a very good maintenance for this machine.
Okay, and finally, what contribution do you hope the analyzer will make to the epidemic in France?
I got some information from my customer before I come back to China. It is a very good machine, and it's very good for the hospital to the analyze. Yeah, that's this one.
I found another trainee here at Keysmile Technology, and his name is Mr. Alex Zhu. So Alex Zhu, can I ask, how long have you been in Chongqing?
Yes, I was in 1 week. I was here and training in Chongqing. Yeah.
So how are you finding the training so far?
I think it's very good because they have the very good system for the engineer to trading. Yeah, I can know for the know-how, how the machine working and everything. Yeah, and after the what the problem come and how to solution for this.
Right. So normally, do you live in Europe?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when your training is completed, is your plan to return to Europe?
Yes. After the training, I will back to Europe and I will use I learned here and trading my custom and all and for the custom. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, what contribution do you hope this machine will make for the epidemic in Europe?
What do you mean?
What contribution do you hope the machine will make in Europe?
So I think there is another system for this because we are the machine. Keysmile is the machine has factory, and in Europe the custom must know how to use the machine and when the problem come, how to solution for this, and we how to training for this custom.